and then start recording again. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so this is going to be Hiveswap Volume 8. I'm about to go into it now. Okay. Of Stresses, Song, and Otherwise. Another night, another ramble. A classic song comes back to you as you continue on your way, some of that good old earth wisdom about a specific kind of footwear being made for walking. I just finished Remilly's route, person who just joined. Yes, I just finished, so now I'm on starting Volume 8. Okay, you wish you had that kind of footwear right now, in this current chapter of your life. Or any footwear, for that matter. You definitely learned your lesson about getting overexcited at the prospect of new friends, and running out in nothing but a bathrobe. Oh, who are you kidding? Maybe not in that particular bathrobe way, but chances are high that wasn't the last time you'll fly off the buoyant afterglow of an intense friendgasm. Okay. So, this person just looks hilariously like, just leave me alone, I'm going to stab you. But then she looks so cute. Like, adorable cute. It's just... I'll end on a good note. I'm going to do Tyzias Entykk. Ooh. This music. Starts off strong. Nice. I like it. Just up ahead, you see a troll leave her hive, muttering to herself. She's holding an unstable mountain of papers and books with one arm, using her free arm to hold a mug steady. She isn't paying attention to you, which is fine. Don't get it twisted. You'd love to make another friend. You just understand now that it's a weird, flighty thing. Some trolls you mess with, some you don't. You smile at her just in case, but when she walks right by you without stopping, you shrug. This planet is chock full of befriendable weirdos. You'll live. You only take a few more steps before the sound of her absolutely eating shit on the sidewalk makes you turn. It happened fast enough that you only really see the aftermath of upended books and papers raining down in an impressively wide circle around her. Ugh, globes. Damn-ass rock. She gets up, but that's as far as she bothers to get. After taking a sip from her mug, which somehow must have stayed level in her grip during her fall, she sighs and gets back to work, gathering it all back up with her free hand. Yeah, this checks out. It's a thing that would happen to me. It's not like I have anything else to be doing. I'm gonna voice her as very tired because she sounds very tired. You've seen a teen movie or two in your day. You know this trope. The cool kid helps the unpopular nerd after they fall like a chump and embarrass themselves, then slowly the pair establishes trust. By the time the credits roll, they've gone and fallen in love. Not that you necessarily want to fall in love, or that you're under the delusion that you're in any way cooler than her, but still, it's tried and true, and also, like, a pretty standard decent person thing to do. So like the decent person you hope to be, you skedaddle on over. You stop short just in front of her wide-flung ring of items. You want to make sure she's not going to yell at you or murder you or anything before you interfere. What? Just kidding, I busted ass, I know it's a scene. Well, what are you waiting for? Be a good bystander and stop standing by. She gestures kind of all around her, and that's confirmation enough. You bend to pick up a heavy-looking book, and there it is, emblazoned right on the cover. A gavel, a humongo fucker of a judgment implement too, with spines all around the handle. Dread creeps up your spine. You slowly slide your gaze from the book cover to its owner. She doesn't have any ostentatiously blood-color-themed clothes on, though, wow, she is sporting socks and sandals. Maybe you are cooler than her after all. But the very prominent eye bags are tinged teal. Ah, globes. A lawyer. It's not that you don't appreciate your one lawyer friend for who he is, it's just you aren't sure you have it in you to sneak your way into the heart of another. You got kinda lucky last time. The scales of judgment in your heart started to weigh in your chances. Keep standing there, paralyzed by choice. You kind of can't look away from that gavel. The spines could really stab a person's skull right open, huh? Wow, thanks for all the standing around and staring assistance. It's really helping a lot. Definitely can't do that just on my own. You're still stuck on the image. She stands up, grumbling, and snatches the book out of your head. Gasp. She turns, waving a dismissive hand at you. Never mind. Now you're just in my way. She doesn't tell you to leave, but she stops acknowledging you, which you figure is pretty much the same thing. You were iffy about this one from the start, but damn, it turns out rejection still stings. Game over. That looks exactly like something that John would have. Like, exactly like it. I'm gonna have fun voicing her, though. She sounds very tired, and I am very tired. I empathize greatly. Okay, let's get back into that. Clickety, 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 skip. Skippity, click. Alright. Skip. Let's actually try to help. Pick up more papers. You start making neat piles of all her stuff. After watching you for a second, she's making sure you're not screwing it up. She dramatically heaves herself to her feet and joins in the effort. I don't have time for this shit. Make sure to keep the B-34s together in my red folder. You look down at your current pile. B. That's the one with the little hook on top, right? Or is that G? Sweat pricks at your temples. You've picked up a little bit of written alternating here and there, but you're still not anywhere near competent at it. Sifting through the papers, you search for anything familiar. You make it a few words, but there are just a lot of these little guys on these papers, and you've got performance anxiety. All right. You probably still can't read. You look up at her startled. How can she tell? Well, I mean, you don't look much like a troll. It isn't exactly a gargantuan mental leap to assume you're not from around here. But I've heard about you. You straighten up. Any press is good press when it comes to friends discussing you, right? Teals talk. Oh, unfortunately. Oh. She puts her mug down on the ground and picks up a fallen book, talking as she flips to whatever page she's looking for. The little asshole is going to have even more unfortunate crap to say to me when he finds out I set us all back by dropping half our group project in a ditch. She paces in flustered circles until she finds a bookmark among the debris. Flicking a wet leaf off of it, she shoves it in the open spine of the book and slams it closed. So what's interesting, actually, is that this is the first kind of hint that there's an actual, group project going on. What I mean by that is, most trolls and most casts seem to, specifically do things or work alone. They don't seem to, put any kind of communal effort into anything. Even, the notion of assassins, it's pretty cool to see, partner pairs, and it's kind of a notable thing. And that's really the only exception, because they would be specifically only mate sprits, and it's because they're mate sprits, because they want to keep each other, alive, essentially. But this is implying a kind of communal group effort where it's, not directly related to keeping any of them alive so much as it is just they're working on something together. Which is, the first instance of that I've seen in, troll culture that I've seen so far. I just wanting to note that because, of course, it's Teals. Of course, it's, the mind-heavy class. And I just like that because it kind of reinforces my thoughts about mind as being this, as the opposite of heart being single and unique, mind is communal and together and by group consensus, which works with the Tealblood's cast of lawyers. She paces in flustered circles until she finds a book. Alright, I read that. Whatever, I can't think about that yet. Gotta get all this back in order first. Right, yeah, the ordering of stuff. You keep at it, doing the best you can to keep similar-looking things together. You can feel her eyes on your back, and you turn to face judgment. You basically got it right, actually. He did say you were quick at the draw. I'm Tyzias, by the way. She doesn't so much smile at you as grimace. It looks mostly pleased, as exhausted expressions go. That's a good friendship-building material as any other. You've certainly started with worse than being complimented. The breeze plays at the ends of her frizzy hair, ruffling a few pages while it's at it. Now that you aren't frantically trying to prove your helplessness and have a moment to think, you don't know if the sidewalk is the best place to be starting from scratch with the whole filing system. You open your mouth to tell her just as when a huge papa gust follows in Breeze Jr.'s wake, blowing the neat stacks back into chaos. Mother grubbing. She sinks slowly back down to the snow globe of paper, taking a long sip from her mug sitting next to her, and then tilts her head back and unleashes a single deep gut holler. You scuttle around, catching documents out of the air until the gust is gone. It's not that Tyzias doesn't seem capable, it's just that she seems a bit burnt out. You know what it's like to feel like you're at the end of the rope. So now that you have a half swinging grab at a handle on things here, you feel like it's your turn to do the heavy friendship lifting. Suggest that a small breather might help, or offer to help her organize it all somewhere with less of a breeze risk. Oh, sorry, I'm reading something in chat. This is more like they work together. Is it really necessary to be mate sprits? I don't think so, at least. When you actually play Mystery Trolls, I'm not going to be spoilery. What volume is that? But it's the Polypa's route, I think? Yeah, when you play Polypa's route, she mentions that it's, assassins, they work alone or they work with their mate sprits. Because, just because of the line of work that they're in. The only one that you can trust to not, stab you in the back while you're on a mission is your mate sprit. So you don't... The idea of, non-partnered partners does not exist in the Alternian society of, assassin circles. Just for the pure fact of, you can't be sure you can trust anyone except your own mate sprit. So she even mentioned, Colonel and Azdaja as, that famous, bronze and, what was his blood color again? Bronze and gold, I think it was, as a famous couple for doing that. But yeah, in terms of, assassins and working together, they typically only deal with their actual, quadrigen pairs, or not at all. And even then, I think they said it tended to be more mate sprits and, what's it called? Morels than the other ones. because, you know, spades, not necessarily guarantee that they won't accidentally try to get you in trouble. But yeah, just for the pure safety issue of it all. It's either partnered pairs or nothing at all. Okay, so I'm going to suggest that a small breather might help. What is Tyzias' aspect either too? Blood, of course. She's being she's being violently assaulted by wind. Of course she's a blood player. You know a breaking point when you see one. You weren't expecting it so early in a potential friendship encounter, but still, it's clear that this troll needs some time to chill. She doesn't need to breathe. This is a mess, yeah. She swings the pendulum of her chin over to glare deadened knives at your guts. Okay, yes, it's a mess, but it seems like maybe just perhaps it would be best to sort of put a pin on all of it. To suck air in and out of our installation sacks or whatever and just get it together for a minute. No group projects were ever aced when the clear leader was not at their peak mental performance. She wrinkles up her nose and closes her eyes. You know what? Fine, fuck it. Not all of it, of course, but this night specifically, and everything and anyone I know or have thought extensively about before in my life. So that just leaves you. What do you have in mind, friend, because I'm all out of ideas. That word still does a number on you, no matter how many times you hear it used flippantly. Oh, the wind joke. Blood and breath are opposites, right? So if she's a blood player, that means her inverted class would be that of breath, and inverted classes are negative always towards the person. So she's being assaulted by the breeze. So it's just, yeah, that's the wind joke. It's not so much as a joke as a commentary on things. Okay. You have an idea already, so you hurriedly gather her shit into extremely unorganized piles, which she drops off into her hive to deal with later. You have expected her to just not come back out, but she does. She's kept only one heavily annotated tome in her mug, which she nods at when she speaks. I know, but these are just in case. Anyway, do your worst. With a salute and a few gentle tugs at Tyzias' sleeve to keep her moving, you get going. You and your Artarnian pals have taken turns leading each other to some pretty wild places in your time here. The place you take Tyzias to, though, is somewhere you haven't shared with anyone. Her relationships tend to be bad as far as we can tell. Oh, but I'm not really debating her aspect, though, because she has a canon aspect. She has the sign of... Hold on. It's from the extended zodiac. Her sign is Lycer, the sign of the Charmer, making her a potential hero of blood and prosper dreamer. So that's canon. She's a blood and prosper dreamer. So that's not something I'm going to be debating at all. I'm just thinking about their classes at this point. You and your Eltonian pals have taken turns leading each other to some pretty wild places in your time here. The place you take Tyzias to, though, is somewhere you haven't shared with anyone. I love how she's just, like, drinking coffee and jiggling, like, trying to stay awake. It's where you come back to on days when you can't find a friend or don't want to impose on any of the ones you made. What do I think is in Tyzias' mug? No idea. Not a clue. Probably some kind of, like, alchemical concoction of her own making. It's on the outskirts of town where the buildings are spread thinner until the landscape cuts upward in a jagged cliff face. Bolted onto the side of the rock is a tower, or what's left of one. It's basically a heap of scaffolding and rusted-out ladders holding up a half-covered platform, but it's been a good place to staunch bleeding and stargaze. Do I give off an outdoorsy vibe to you? Does my half-untucked button-up and paltry muscle mass scream, would love to scrape up a dilapidated relic? You'd worry about her hating your plan, but you kind of feel like she complained no matter where you took her, and at this point the die is cast. So heave-ho, you say, it's stronger than it looks. You offer to hold her stuff for her during the ascent. She gives you the book, but clutches the mug against her chest. You know better than to pry, but you're dying a little wondering why she's so weird about it, unless she's got liquor made from Viscera in there. Or maybe her Lucis gave her the mug so it's special. It could be both. You shrug and start climbing. Like you thought she would, she follows you, and like before, she complains about it the whole time, and like the structure itself, you both weather it fine. At the top, she looks around. Is this your hive? It's more like a hideout. You still feel a little shy about it, but it's not as fancy as your friends' hives, and you don't have any weird animal parent to make you snacks or anything. I can already tell, though, that her relationship to the blood aspect is not quite the one that's about, like, specifically relationships. She seems to be more fulfilling obligations. So promises, deadlines, like that kind of thing. And it's also the idea of that breath is more associated with play and blood is more associated with work because of that tied to obligations and things that you have to do. So I can already tell that her connection to blood is more on that level of, like, obligations and bonds and things you are bound to, more so than, like, people and relationships, because there's different facets of blood, just like there's different facets of all the aspects. So I can see that there for sure. It's pretty clear. It's more like a hideout. You still feel a little shy about it. It's not as fancy as your friends' hives, and you don't have any weird animal planet to make you snacks or anything. They're only little keepsakes you've picked up along the way, set up on an old creaky table next to some complicated old tech you couldn't get a power on. This must be an old watchtower, from when that was part of her imperial bitchiness' preferred method of surveillance. She runs a hand over the dusty screen. Oh, Trizette, you learned about her. No. Her bigger, badder off-world counterpart, the Condense. Ah, you look at the rusted barrel of some terrifying weapon mounted in the corner, and then out over the landscape and sprawling town. In the distance, smoke rises from a freshly demolished hive, glinting in the moonlight. Drones circle it like buzzards. It's been like this here for a while, then. You sit down, your legs dangling off the side of the platform. Tyzias joins you, a safe distance away from the edge. This is one hell of an understatement. But yeah, we've got a time-honored status quo in operation here. Streamlined. Efficient. Brutal. Tyzias looks miserable. That's not what you're going for. Yeah, you can go definitely too far into that, though, even in your own aspect. That's called over-embracing. And that definitely seems to be the case here, which is why her good route seems to be like taking a break from work and going in for some play. You summon up the old Roy G. Biv in your head for the thousandth time. She should be safe, right? Teals are middle class. And anyway, she's a lawyer. She's got the powers that be on her side. Saying so doesn't seem to cheer her up at all. I mean, you're not wrong. But being in a position to benefit from the system doesn't make the system more morally palatable. And if I'm being real about it, it's more me being forced to uphold it than anything else. She nods towards the book in your hands. Oh, right, how does this all work anyway? Can she just not be a lawyer? Aren't there good ones? Yeah, I can quit, if I want to get cold. There's always a choice. She sighs. It's not like I expect suffering to ever stop completely. It just seems like an awful lot of work to do to make sure it keeps happening. And that's the entire job of a legislacerator. So, continuing the joke of, like, Alternia being, like, nega-Earth, it seems like lawyers on Alternia don't strive to keep the peace and uphold goodness and everything. They strive to uphold the bad systems in place. The whole reason why Alternia is such a hellhole. Lawyers. Unless you're purple enough to get away with it, you're just guilty, no matter what. It's just a matter of going through all the fanfare of a trial, all for the same result. It's sick, but it's so normal by now that no one knows how to begin questioning it. She looks more exhausted now than she did during the paper explosion, like when you used up all your sadness and all you have is a deep, broken fatigue. This isn't exactly the rejuvenating getaway you envisioned. There's just so much injustice. You continue to try to be positive. Are there not political parties, some secret underground movements or anything? Clicking on things. Whoops. Sure, most lowbloods you've met have a healthy, fatalistic nonchalance about their situations, but there's gotta be something else out there. There were a few people who tried to stir up shit back in the day. It's all kind of hushed up and hard to find any information in the history of them, though. Definitely not the kind of thing they teach you in legislacerator training. One was a mutant blood, the other had wings, so I guess they didn't have much of a chance anyway. She's actually referencing, like, the Sufferer in, oh, I forget him now. What's his name? The brown blood one. What was his title? The Summoner. That's what it was. You can't imagine the story having a happy ending, but you still want to know more. There's the subtlest shift in her tone of voice now that she's doing more than only complaining. It draws you in. One of them seems to have gathered enough of a following and to become a kind of religious figure from what little I can find about him. The other one led a military revolt. They both were killed, along with their attempts at change. I don't even know what happened to their compatriots. She stops to squint at you. I don't know how you got to me talking like this, but in the fuck it spirit of the night, I'm just gonna keep going. If it wasn't clear, I'm telling you things that can get me extremely cold. So, like, please be chill. You're so chill. The chillest. Also, you're probably pretty gullible yourself. Good point. She squints at you a little longer and then stares out into the night. Her jaw muscle clenches a few times before she speaks. I have some ideas. She's still not looking at you, but she sits up a little straighter. You feel your spine following suit almost on its own. All of us training to be legislators like to practice throwing our weight around. Some of us more than others, which I guess you have first-hand experience with. But we don't have much real power yet. We will, though, if we pass our exams. Which I will. I've been staying up most days studying every documented piece of law and some underground stuff too when I find it. There are exploitable loopholes they don't know about. If I can establish myself as a major player, I might have a chance to change things. Some things you can only take apart from the inside out. By now she's built up a fevered energy, even with the sluggish way she talks. When you shift in your seat, she kind of snaps out of it. Oh, sorry. Guess I got a little worked up. I don't exactly get to talk about this very often. It's kind of overwhelming to think about how fucked every little thing is all the time. So I'm definitely sensing a bit of Heir vibe from this girl. The way she seems pumped about change, the way she seems kind of like downtrodden. Like at first I thought she might be like a knowledge class, either like a major seer, but then I realized no, that's not really making her happy. Like that's not like her actual true real self. So I'm definitely thinking Heir for her. The way she's focusing on change right now, for sure, and the way that seems to get her excited, and how she seems to be like, yeah, okay, all the time. But now that I see it clearly, I can't not do something. And like she does seem to be have like a bit of like airy thing where like you get stuck in a rut, kind of, and you have to find a way to sort of break out of it. Her rut seems to be like just working on this like legislator stuff and like being forced to do it over and over and over again. So now like this kind of revolutionary like quirk in her, like this idea of like, hey, we can change the system from the inside out, like we can do this. Yeah, I can definitely see like Heir of Blood as her Classpect. That seems pretty cool. It's like Alternia is a giant fire, and I'm pissing on a tiny corner of it while the rest of everything burns up around me. Your brain is buzzing with how real all that felt. You can't really add anything to it, so you just nod. Are things less abysmal where you're from? Whoo, boy. In ways, yeah. A home the accused is called a defendant, at least, as in they get a defense. Her eyes brighten. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Does your justice system work? You exhale slowly, trying to buy yourself time to encapsulate all of your planet's various cultures, societal structures, and similarly overwhelming list of injustices in an intelligent blurb. You settle on, not always, not for everyone. Her laugh is short and hollow. So much for enlightened life forms existing somewhere in the universe. You guess until a more kind and just alien life form comes to take over, you'll have to make do with each other. Yeah, you're not so bad. I'd take on an impressive regime with you anytime. She gives your arm an awkward tap with her fist and then looks back over the edge. Anyway, I'm no religious figure or military strategist. Yeah, she's not a strategist, so she's definitely not like a mental player. There's gotta be someone out there who is. She just has ideas and change. They gotta use what skills I have instead, I guess, until I find them. What the fuck else would I do with my time? You keep pissing on the fire is the best anyone can do, you reckon? That and get others hydrated enough to do the same. She laughs. Keep on pissing, huh? I'll drink to that. She takes a big swig from her mug. After a beat, she silently, without looking at you, extends her arm your way. You stare in the mug's depths, a little unnerved. It doesn't look like viscera, but you've been burned before. It won't kill you. You're not sure what it will do, but Tyzias is truthful, if nothing else, so bottoms up. What the fuck? It's water. Tyzias grins and taps her temple with a claw. Gotta give the people something. Otherwise they might think I'm the way I am on my own. Then where would we be? You know, letting people in can be helpful, you know, sometimes. Shh. I'm fine. You're not convinced. Okay, I'll admit it. It's not a bad idea to relax every once in a while. Get your priorities straight. This was a decent time. You're glad she's glad, but you mostly just talked the whole time about the same stuff that she was overwhelmed by to begin with. Does that even count? You learned a lot, but she still looks pretty wiped. As soon as you think that, she yawns. She's so driven, you shiver a bit when you imagine what she could do if she took time to rest for real. You pat the pile of blankets next to you. It's no bed, or a tub of soap or slime for that matter, but it's gotten you through enough. She looks warily at it and yawns again. I guess my Lucis and my mate Sprit will just think I'm at the book hive anyway. One little nap won't hurt. I'll get up early tomorrow and reorganize our stupid busy work project. She tentatively lowers herself down into the blankets, her eyes close for a brief second before they snap open again, glaring at you with full focus. Don't doubt me, either. I've got it under control. Oh, you have zero doubts about her abilities, you say. She curls back up against herself, and a small rattle of contentedness shakes in her throat. Out in the distance, the blaze has dimmed to a thin plume of smoke. You hope whoever's hive it was is okay. You're not sleepy, so you'll keep watch to make sure she gets up by sunrise. You tilt your head back and look up at the unfamiliar constellations. Your head feels full. It's intense and not exactly what you call happy, but you know you're not feeling it with her, and that's... But you know you're feeling it with her, and that's far from nothing. Yay! We're friends! Woohoo! Someone in the chat said, I'm going with Prince. Destroy the bad obligations forced on Alternia, and the bad rules seem to be our objective, at her healthiest state at least. One being forced into a passive state, I think. She's not really being forced into a passive state, though. If anything, she seems like being forced into an active state. Like running around doing all these things, like that kind of thing, and she doesn't take the time to like sort of rest and heal and be herself. But I definitely feel she's either Heir or Witch, because she's definitely changed. But I'm just feeling Heir right now for her. She doesn't really like... I don't know. I think Heir. Heir of Blood makes sense to me for her. More so than Witch. Witch would have like a really different personality. She's just... Tyzias right now is just sort of like thinking about change and not really like going for it, but like doing her small little part. It seems a lot more passive than like... A Witch revolutionary would be like way more into it, way more likely to like scream and out in the open, be like, revolution, change, ah! Not so much her like sort of like underpinnings of it. So I'm feeling Heir, but that's just me. Okay. Now I think I have to do her bad roots? I'm not sure. And she doesn't have a familiar. Well, that's not actually like a solid rule of witches. It's more just like something that happened to be true in the comic. Like, familiars are like a term that means a certain thing. Like, even though fairy has glib, that you wouldn't call that a familiar. It's not quite the same, and like, especially when it comes to like the big interplanetary like forces, like, for instance, is Jade's dog, Beckerel, is a familiar apparently, but Jane's cat isn't. Like, there's not a clear set of rules there for that, like, to be a thing. I think it's more just something that people, like to think on because, oh, it's a witch, like, familiar, like, it makes sense with the thing, but it's not something that's actually, like, a thing in the comic, I would say. I'm not trying to tear the idea down, it's just, like, it's not something that's, like, part and parcel of the actual class of in Suburb. It's more just, like, a thing that seems to be true in some cases that seems to not be true in other cases. So, she could be a witch and not have a familiar, that's fine. Just like fairy, like, really doesn't have a familiar. She really doesn't. Not kind of like any kind of animal servant. Like, Glib doesn't count because she never interacts with Glib in the comic in any significant way. She interacts with the horror terrors more than Glib. Okay, anyway. Go back in here. Can't remember if I missed any bad roots for Tyzias, so I'm gonna just check. Yeah, keep sitting there paralyzed by choice. Pick up more papers. Okay, offered to help her organize it all somewhere with less of a breeze risk. Hey, your night is pretty wide open. You wouldn't mind moving this operation to a less windy location and getting it together for real? Yeah, alright. She still sits over there kind of dazedly, so you take over. It feels nice to be useful, even if you're not super confident about your skills. You at least know how to make a mean pile. After you make a handful of them, she moves to join you in the effort, and you shush her back down. You're a helpful make-help person, and you have got it. She makes a non-committal noise and watches you work. You try not to feel too bad when she winces at a few of your sorting decisions. She doesn't stop you, at least. She scrunches up her face and yawns, which catches you off guard. Man, she is really wiped. You look away from her to the paper you're about to grab, but it's not there. Maybe it blew into another stack, or you picked it up already and forgot? Yeah, that's probably right. Anyway, she had her eyes closed so she didn't notice. It'll be fine. Once you have everything together, you kind of help her to her feet. You're pretty sure that it was her hive she just walked out of, so you ask if you should go there. No, I was headed to the book hive. I can take you there. She seems to rally a bit now that it's her turn to lead the way. She picks up a hefty stack of her things, balances the mug on top of it all, and starts walking. Move it or lose it. It being the opportunity to engage in some really tedious micromanagement. There's no choice to be had, really. You move it. The book hive is an imposing building, and inside are a series of rooms opening off a central atrium. You walk past one open set of double doors, showing off a room full of weird statues and display cases, and another one bright with the light of dozens of display screens and humming with electricity. Further around the curve of the room, you pass a room full of brains in jars. It really looks like brains in jars. There's another still, a windowless one, ostensibly secured with multiple padlocks and what looks like a retina scanner. There are a bunch of trolls in each room, and as you keep passing doors, you realize they're almost all tealbloods. And are they the nerd cast? Wow, harsh. I mean, yeah, though. We kind of are. I know plenty of goldbloods who spend their nerd energy ruining the internet from their basements, and bluebloods usually have their own personal jerk-off book hives. And there are always outliers, I guess. But yeah, between us and the Jades, the book hive is blue-green dweeb city. Tizzy's keep moving like this isn't nothing new. To her, you guess it isn't. She pushes a creaky wooden door open to reveal a large study room full of bookshelves and furniture. There are even a few weird-looking ferns decorating the fronts. And here there are a bunch of trolls. Some reading, many on their computers. You dump the stuff you lugged on here onto one of the tables. The sound echoes in there, and a handful of trolls look your way. Yikes, you hope your presence won't be too conspicuous. You're probably fine. Unless anyone gets horny for acting grown and wants a bounty. Sorry, just going back to the witch conversation. She doesn't have a familiar. I did. But like me, like I had a familiar. What do you mean? I don't remember that at all. But you're with me, so they probably won't mess with you. You're a little surprised by that. Tyzias, who is slumped down in a chair and is stolidly reorganizing her piles, doesn't exactly give off a brawler aura. No, like, they know I'll talk them out of it, or whine at them about leaving me alone until they do. That makes you feel safe enough. So, time to do some old-fashioned organization. What is this big project anyway? It's just some bullshit. She stops and cuts her eyes around the room, but no one is still paying attention, as far as you can see. She starts speaking again, quieter. An assignment for one of my legislators or crane courses. We're supposed to choose a prosecutable offense from the scrolls of evisceration and list all potential. She must be able to sense your eyes glazing over at the idea of another long and not possible legal jargon rumble because she cuts herself off there. I always forget you're a Witch of Light, despite it being part of your blog name. Yeah, funny that. A Witch of Light puts that exact thing in her blog name and makes her, like, icon everything, the whole, like, Witch of Light thing. Yeah. It's barely worth describing. Grub school level, honestly, but it's extremely fucking tedious to research and then annotate. Especially when you can't find sources that haven't been scrubbed nice in fuchsia. Anyway, as long as we get things in the right folders in the right order, we should be good for now. Sounds good to use. Plenty of time to keep chatting and getting to know each other, though. She said this was a group project, right? Where are her group members? Shouldn't they be contributing? Like I'd let them. Just kidding. I'm very good at allowing people to help me. Yeah, Heir. She grits her teeth and nods at you, masterfully setting aside the papers labeled with the letter that looks like a little microscope. Case in point. Anyway, they did their parts already. I just want to make sure to add the finishing touches. Right then, you hear approaching footsteps. It's had better not be some high blood, you gotta take it out. I mean, you'll do it if you have to. It's tried and true. You're just not sure how well this dynamic duo would fare in this case. You stop scanning the room for potential bludgeoning material when you see Tyzias' expression go from regular tired to tired and annoyed, but not in fear of mortal peril. You hear him speak before as you start to turn. How the mighty fall, and into a mud puddle, it seems. At least my associate seems to be picking up after you fairly efficiently. Fuck off, Sorgor. We'll have together in time. You don't require any assistance? I'd have to raise my rates from my original offer, but you know it still stands. You did your part already, so spare me both your sales pitch and your company before you give me a second acid tube ulcer. Oh right, you need to do those final edits of yours. Subtextual anti-establishment agendas don't insert themselves, after all. Suit yourself. See you in class. They give each other an identical but inscrutable hand signal. If the huff of perturbation from a nearby jade is any indication, it's gotta be something vulgar. Perish. Huh. He smirks and raises his eyebrows at you as he turns to go. Come by later? You nod. You open your mouth to be nosy, but Tyzias sees it coming a mile away. What, you never had a class friend? Someone who does good work but is miserable to hang out with? I don't have time to waste on more than one quadrant or on lying to you, so don't blow a brain gasket. Just when you think you have all the troll dynamics down, you gotta make room for that cursed bastard nuance. Anyway, you guess it makes sense. You and your troll friends have all kinds of weird vibes with each other, too. Whatever works. Exactly. You go back to happily sorting. Tyzias rolls her shoulders and starts leaping through your piles. Where's my... Have you seen my handwritten page? It should be here. She starts double-checking herself. Her pace doesn't so much escalate as it does intensify. Her whole body almost graceful with efficiency. You got everything, right? I thought I watched it where it all went. I could have sworn I saw it land. You can help her redo a lost page. It shouldn't be too hard to recreate it. That doesn't help. She glares at you and starts forcefully whispering, still double-checking piles without looking, like she knows them by touch. You don't understand. Those were my personal notes on an extremely sensitive topic I discovered while researching. I was only planning on using it to inform my stance, not turn in with the rest. It's not here. She stops her futile search, downs the rest of whatever's in her mug, and holds her head in her hands. I'm fucked. I might as well lay down right here until moss grows on my desiccated body. That's dramatic. You don't want to blame her or anything, especially since it's possibly sort of your fault it's lost, but you still want to give her hope. Maybe next time she could use Gorgle Docs. It won't blow away and it has a collaboration settings that you've used them with. Her head pops back up, her features slack. I can't use Gorgle Docs for this. Are you listening? That's the whole point. You know who owns that, right? Every document is monitored. Analog is the only way to do anything unless you know how to get me into the dark web, which I fucking doubt. If someone found it, if my handwriting is recognized, I'm dead. Then I'll never be able to. She trails off, just sort of slumped in her seat, staring into the void. Shit, you really fucked up. He admitted to her that you may have allowed one page to blow away when you weren't paying attention, and then it could possibly have been that one. Great. I can't believe I was stupid enough to let someone else handle things. I was just so tired. Her shoulders start to shake a bit. Oh no. She doesn't cry, but you almost wish she would. The way she keeps blinking back her tears and hiding her face with her arm is worse. It feels invasive to watch, and thankfully it doesn't last. She sniffs once, clears her throat, and wipes her face with her sleeve. Silently, she stacks all of her things in a pile. Okay. I need to retrace my steps. Oh, pardon me. Maybe it hasn't been spotted yet. Maybe it'll be okay. It won't, but oh well. You reach to help, desperate to fix the situation, but she gingerly picks your hand off one of her books and drops it on your lap. Your stomach sinks to join it. No, don't worry. I've got it. She wrestles it all into a precarious heap in her arms. It wobbles once she makes her way steadily to the door, but she catches it herself. Head high, she keeps walking. She doesn't look back. Oh dear. Oh dear, poor Tyzias. I liked you a lot more than I thought I would. Okay. Now for the very last in Volume 8. Chixie Roixmr. I say it like Roixmr because you can say like R-O-O-I-X as Roy, as like raw, something. Fell about the background art in the volume. Personally, I think it took a bit of a dive. I haven't been paying attention, actually. The background art is not, like, a major focus of mine, so I haven't noticed. That's not really, like, the point of these things, I think, so it doesn't matter to me. Chixie Roixmr. Bit of a British accent, this one. That's how I'm gonna do it. Ooh, I like her music. Your point is, you need a wardrobe change. You should have asked L-Word for one of her rad leather jackets. You really could make one of those. You could really make one of those work. Geez, this is kind of a crummy neighborhood, and there you go again, making snap judgments. Get a little alien culture into you, and suddenly you're an expert. It looks like you found the Alternian nightlife. Well, technically all life here is nightlife. If people are nocturnal here, shouldn't nightclubs be called day clubs? Maybe the lure of dancing and getting smashed with strangers is not enough to get people to brave the blistering sun. I doubt you'd brave a stiff breeze for it. You aren't much of a partier. Oh yeah, I've got all of their things written down in a notepad here. Chixie Roixmr. Sign is Torah. Make an Heir a potential hero of mind and a prospect dreamer. That sounds more Australian than British, so I'm going with it. Obviously, you're all about new experiences. You'll try anything once. A long line of people snakes along the side of a building. It doesn't appear to be moving. The club must not be open yet. You consider getting in the line, but there's so many people here. You really are more of a one-on-one friendship type. You go around the back instead, to your old friend, the back alley and the dumpster. Distantly, you hear music. It comes on every few seconds and then drops off. Maybe a sound check. You hear something else. A musical sigh comes from up ahead. You turn a corner to find a girl standing alone outside a back entrance. A heavy door is propped open with a chunk of concrete like someone had gouged it out off the street. The girl has on a sweater dress and leg warmers, a bronze sign splashed across her chest. You wonder if you should just consider painting a sign onto your own clothes just to make yourself seem more normal. Yeah, no, probably no point. You'd also need to paint yourself gray and find a pair of fake horns. Who would do something like that? Sounds like a huge pain with absolutely no benefits. The girl hasn't noticed you yet. She is staring at her feet and sighing. Also, she's making weird little whoops and clicking noises or singing a few bars of wordless notes, starting low and then climbing up high. Wow, it sounds pretty good. The enclosed space between the alley walls make it seem like it's coming from all directions. Maybe you should just leave. She looks busy. But then another troll sticks in their head around the open door, shouting the girl an unkind look and kicking the cement block doorstep away. Oh heck, there's really only one reason you would prop open a door. Stand there like an asshole. Obviously. Like the witness to a disastrous car accident, you stand there and watch as the girl notices the door closing and lets out a squeak, jumping for the handle. She misses it and smacks her knee against the metal frame. Ouch! Damn it! She has a soft, musical voice, even when she's swearing. You ask if she's okay. She stops rubbing at her knee and looks up at you. You're quite a bit taller than her, but she looks older than some of the other trolls you've hung out with. She looks older. No worries. Oh, she has, like, slashes in her. Okay. No worries. Well, at least not about my leg. If you want something to worry about, I'm sure I can come up with some ideas without much trouble. You assure her that you've had plenty to worry about recently, though you appreciate the offer. She gives a fruitless tug on the back door. She knocks. Nobody comes. And she knocks again. Still nothing. You tell her that someone kicked her doorstep out of the way. She looks disappointed, but not surprised. Oh well, I'll just have to go back round the front. Could be worse. Would you care to join me? Oh my god, you thought she'd never ask. This is working out perfectly. You are so glad she got locked out back here with you and the rest of the garbage. I'm Chixie Roixmr, although I'm sure you already knew that. I don't think you're an idiot or anything. But, you know, meet and greets are usually after the show, but you seem nice. You aren't sure how she figures that, since all you've done is stand around. It's true, though, so you don't protest. You are nice, super nice. You might be the nicest son of a bitch on this whole dang planet. You ask her if she's performing here tonight. Of course. Why else would I be warming up in the dirty back alley? You tell her she's seen people do far weirder things. She laughs. You're not wrong. People around here would do anything for attention nowadays. For instance, you are walking around with an ablution robe. You cough delicately. True, very true. She's got you there. If you come inside with me, I can give you an autograph. I don't have anything to write back here. Chixie seems to think that you are a fan who managed to get past security to accost her in person. She doesn't seem too upset, though. More like delighted. You think back many friends ago when Sarava told you it was dangerous for lowbloods to get popular. You wonder if Chixie trusts you because she thinks you're also a lowblood, or maybe she's just not that popular. You follow her back to the front of the club, past the line of trolls waiting to get inside. A guy whistles at her. She gives him a flirty little wave, along with a flat smile. Customer service smile. She sews the bouncer something on her palm husk, and he lifts up the velvet rope. They're with me. They're my +1. Well, you've never been everyone's +1 before. A bunch of people in line look annoyed, but Chixie ignores them. You follow her, tripping a little on the hem of your robe. Be careful, huh? You don't want to twist an ankle. Chixie suits the lilt like a character in a musical getting ready to burst into song. You hope you aren't supposed to participate if she does. You're a little too busted for an impromptu dance number, but you're also a little liable to flash someone in his robe. You hear music and chatter from down the hall, but Chixie pulls you in another direction, towards the dressing rooms. You pass several closed doors, stopping in front of the one that seems to be in the process of being cleared out. Oh, sorry, my headphones are getting tangled up. A bunch of shit is spilling out into the hall, clothes seem trailing out of suitcases, a microphone cord seems to be slithering slowly among the gestures. Charming. God, I can't do anything without someone messing around, locking me out, and now this. Who did this? I'm seriously out for blood tonight. Looks like someone commandeered her dressing room while she was out, as well as tossed all her shit into the hall. I have to deal with this. I'll be right back. You can borrow some clothes if you want. In fact, I insist. She leaves you in the cramped little room. It's dark in the hall, but everywhere in Alternia is kept darker than is comfortable for you. You're getting used to it, though. You imagine humans used to have to deal with this all the time back before electricity, provided they didn't die immediately of, like dysentery. You flick on the outline of the white bulbs around the mirror. Oh wow, even in the soft, flattering light, you look like an A-grade free-range disaster. Tagora's expensive rainbow drinking serum has rubbed off, and now you're mostly just dusty. You wade through a couple of Chixie's suitcases, but everything here is too small for you. There's a couple sweater dresses and a hoodie that might fit, but without a pair of pants, it's gonna get real scandalous real fast. The only thing you find that works in the whole damn dressing room is a floaty purple dress hanging on the back of the door. Definitely not your style. You never would wear anything like this at home. But fuck it, roll with the punches, right? And not just in violence ways, fashion ways. You give a little experimental twirl in front of the mirror. You aren't going to break any hearts, but you'll do. You actually kind of dig it. You're busy admiring yourself when Trixie comes back. She sniffles sharply, and there are tear tracks in her face, but she isn't crying anymore. In fact, she looks mad as hell. Oh damn, is she mad at you? Did you manage to fuck something up before even being there? Did you manage to fuck something up without even being there? You've got mad fuck-up skills. I got bumped. They kicked me off the lineup. I was supposed to be the opening, but some new band come in, and they have a purple blood drummer, so the club owner let them take my place. Of course, this is always how it goes. God, she looks so sad. Time to break out your finely tuned comforting muscles. Before you can get those guns out, someone oozes up to the two of you, someone you recognize. Oh, incredible, Miss Roixmr. What are the odds? It must be fate. Well, you chipped that you were coming to the show, so I guess the odds were pretty good. Zebra doesn't let this dim his sparkle. He isn't the type of guy to let facts get in the way. He hasn't even noticed you. He's too busy kissing the back of Chixie's hand. Looking good, baby. I'm kind of a mess. I've been crying. Well, crying looks good on you. Zebra finally glances away and does an extremely exaggerated double take. Wow, damn, I didn't even recognize you. You clean up really nice, you know. You haven't cleaned up at all, really. You haven't bathed since Tagora's fancy ablution trap. All you've done is put on a slinky dress. It's not like you aren't happy to see Zebra. You are. He's one of your many success stories. He's just, you know, the kind of friend you want to think back on fondly from time to time, remembering all the good times. Yeah, not necessarily the kind you want to hang out with, or have hang all over you, like he is right now. Chixie looks at his arm around your shoulder and seems momentarily annoyed. Then her expression skips a couple tracks and hits back on neutral. So you've met where online? In a forum. Can I join? Not in a forum. Unless you're talking about the forum of life. He winks. Fate just keeps bringing us together, doesn't it? Just like you and me, Chixie baby. Chixie laughs. Now that she's gotten over her surprise, her entire demeanor has changed. Her body language has relaxed. She keeps biting her lip. She looks like an actor demonstrating bashful on command. Zebra is eating it up. It was really nice of you to post about my EP on your blog. Got a lot of listens from that. Babe, have I ever told you that I think you're so strong? Seriously, low-blood girls are so strong. Chixie laughs again. It sounds painful. Maybe once or twice. I love your new stuff. That one song, Poisonous Moon or whatever. Bloody Sun? Yeah, right, exactly. Real good stuff, sweetheart. I can't wait to hear more tonight. Oh, right, he doesn't know Chixie got bumped. Chixie meets your eyes. She seems to be trying to communicate something entirely using her eyebrows. Mind your own damn business. You follow Chixie's lead and don't say anything. Zebra will find out pretty soon anyway when the show starts and Chixie doesn't get on stage. He takes off saying he's going to go to his spot in the pit. There's no pit here. Her earnest, polite look drops as soon as Zebra's out of sight. She's letting you see all the bits of herself that she has to hide from other people. You wonder if it's because you don't matter that much or because she can sense your trustworthy nature. You're a natural optimist when it comes to friendship, so you decide to believe the latter. Now, you might immediately, from that line, jump to rogue or knight and be like, hey, hiding bits of yourself. But remember, she is a mind player. So how she interacts with that is what we got to look at, not just the fact itself. Come on, I want to get a good look at the jerks who took my stage from me, so I can talk about them in my vent chitter. You can follow it if you like. Only like 4 people do. It's not like anyone cares about my problems anyway. You risk an encouraging pat on her between her shoulder blades. She sniffs and wipes her nose. At least I have you. I'm my one non-creepy fan. At least I think you aren't creepy. I guess I don't know you that well. You assure her that you aren't that creepy, at least not as creepy as that guy. Chixie starts to respond, but then breaks off. Her voice sticks in her throat like she swallowed a bug. Oh wait, they actually eat bugs here, like she swallowed a live bug. Actually, they might eat live bugs. Well, fuck, simile cancelled. Anyway, Chixie stops talking, and you realize it's because she's listening instead. The first band is on, going from Chixie's impression. This must be the band that scooped her. I can't believe it. I can't. She takes off. You aren't sure if you're supposed to follow, but she swoops back in and grabs your hand to drag you along behind her. You go past the club entrance and up a staircase, emerging in a tiny backstage area. Chixie stops just outside the stage lights. The band on stage is 4 trolls, mixed cast judging from their clothes, although you suppose they don't have to wear the clothes the color of their blood, though most trolls seem to. Law or tradition, both are dangerous to break. That's my song! They didn't just steal my set, they stole my set list! Her cheek flushed a ruddy brown as she shakes with rage. She begins singing along with them. Twist and pull, breathe the terror of life on hell, spines and gore forevermore on this nightmare island spell. Eris above, blight below. I'm knocking on your hive's front door. Love me please, I abhor. It has kind of a twangy country feel to it, except it's about murder. Or maybe love? You can't tell. It just really doesn't fit the band that's on stage's vibe. It doesn't really fit Chixie's either, but then again, you haven't seen her perform. Maybe she's really different when she gets in the spotlight. She's crying now, tears streaming down her face as she sings. It's all over. Nobody's going to believe I wrote this music, some little dirt-blood country girl. You remember that Sarava told you about high blood stealing their music and acting like they wrote it? God, that's so unfair. That sucks. Where's the bar? You should do something. Let's do something. Yeah. Chixie clenches her fist. Yeah! She reaches into a snarled mess of equipment and comes back with a microphone that only looks a little bit squirmy. She walks over to a costume rack and pulls down a mask. It's plain white like the Phantom of the Opera's mask, jarringly stark against the gaudy organic styles of almost everything else on Alternia. She waits for a dip in volume in the song, and she gets one right after the bridge. Then she switches on the microphone and takes a huge breath. Shut the fuck up! The shout reverberates around the club. The sound of the crowd dips and then falls off almost entirely. The band staggers to a slow, rattling stop. No one seems to know what's going on. Oh hell, this isn't what you meant. You meant, like, egg their tour bus or trash them online. Chixie steps into the light and a murmur goes up through the crowd. The band singer lowers her microphone. She's in a short blue dress with a long, vicious claws painted red. You aren't up on all the trends, but you're pretty sure that red is edgy. Chixie covers her microphone and says something to the band. The cerulean stares at her for a few seconds before letting out a cascading spray of laughter. Sure, honey, okay, condescending and sweet, like Chixie is a toddler who happened to wander on stage. She points finger guns at the guy on the soundboard. Razzer, give the lady a beat. Oh. Oh god. You know what this is. You see Chixie's face framed by the lights, focused in the tent, all simpering gone. You like that? I read it. You hit that? I own it. Coming in hot, trying to steal my spot? Oh lord, is this a limerick? Just grab my bulge and deep throat it. A dirty limerick. Holy shit, she's really doing this thing. A rap battle, Jesus. The cerulean girl spits some stuff back. It's kind of basic, just general insults about Chixie's blood color and her lyrics being stale. Considering she stole Chixie's song, that doesn't really fly. The crowd doesn't know that, though. They're eating it up. They probably think it's all part of the show. Some fiery little lowblood coming out on stage to shake things up. Paint your claws red, paint your mouth brown. Oh. Acting like you know what it's like down here on the ground. The crowd whoops. This might be a high-blood-owned club, but there's definitely a lot of low-bloods in the crowd. But it's imitation. I got no expectation. This is your final station. You aren't going to hit higher than this collaboration. You aren't like a rap expert or anything, but you can definitely tell that Chixie isn't either. She gets breathless towards the end of lines and hits some words strangely, but the crowd is really feeling her. Definitely more than they're feeling the cerulean. Chixie's voice picks up speed and power as she gains confidence, drawing energy off the crowd. You realize they're leaning forward too, making sure you catch every word. She goes through a whole list of the band's shortcomings, including their fashion sense, their talent level, and their interpersonal clusterfuck. They are apparently a pretty well-known group online. She throws in some stuff about them stealing her music, and the crowd oohs like this is a middle school cafeteria. So kill me. Call the drums. It won't change a bit of what they all know. When you're a thief, what do you expect? I'll beat you all square. Hey, show some respect. Chixie drops the mic. The room erupts. Holy shit, that was awesome. She just came up with all of that on the fly. The cerulean looks furious, and another troll runs up on stage to try to get the crowd under control. They're all chanting, mask, mask, mask. Chixie runs back off stage, chucking both the mask and the microphone back where she found them. You're gonna get killed. Yeah. She grabs you and you run all the way back out the alleyway where you met, letting the door close behind you. Guess you're done with that club. Chixie's eyes are round and shell-shocked. I just did that. Yeah, she really did. I just told a bunch of high-bloods to eat my bulge. You don't know what a bulge is, but yep. Fuck, they liked me, didn't they? They were cheering for me. You say, yeah, you're pretty sure they were. Holy shit, I'm going to be cold. Did you hear all that stuff I said? You can't just say stuff like that. You remind her that she was wearing a mask when she did it. Oh, right, nobody will know who I am. I'm safe. Nobody will know. Nobody. You're dead. Oh, but that means nobody will know it was me. You aren't quite following. I'm not going to get any credit at all. God, why does everything in my life have to be so metaphorically resonant? Oh, girl, you feel that. You definitely know what that's like. Hey, that was pretty dope. Both of you jump a foot in the air, a low blood in a hoodie and a pair of sunglasses slashes against the brick beside the back door. Either you are seriously impaired today, or he is seriously good at sneaking. You got any stuff online? He asked Chixie. She gapes at him. But I was wearing a mask. How did you know? Well, you're standing right outside the door, and you're wearing the same clothes you did on stage, so... Oh, right. Clever of you. Don't worry about it. Plausible deniability, right? Catch you later. He slinks off, one hand raised in a casual, cool guy farewell. See, you tell Chixie, some people will figure out who you are. Possibly just randos outside the clubs, but still, she can do this. She can make her dreams come true. You're totally right. I so can. I guess all hope isn't lost. At least not until another insurmountable obstacle comes along. Thanks for, well, everything. I would never have gone out there if not for you. She hesitates for a few seconds, then goes in for a slightly damp hug. Sorry, stage lights and terror. Makes me sweat. I somehow thought I was doing her, like, bad roots. Like, I was trying to get the bad ones out of the way, but I guess not. She's so cute, though. I like her. Chixie, Roixmr. Okay, let's go back in and do those bad roots and see if I can get something out of you for that. I find usually, weirdly enough, I find a lot of the Classpect stuff in their bad roots more so than their good roots, for some odd reason. So, at first I stood there like an asshole, so now I'm going to grab the door before it can close. Displaying the dexterity of someone far healthier and far less dressed in a slinky bathrobe, you grab the door before it can slam closed. The bronze-blood girl's attention snaps up and she breaks off mid-note. She takes in the misplaced concrete and you holding the door. Oh, thanks for catching that. I would have had to go all the way around the front. It must have been the wind. Just what sort of wind do they have here that could pick up a chunk of rock the size of a turtle, unless wind is urban slang for some rude douchebag? She gives you a quick little smile and darts through the door, letting it close behind her with a solid click. Yep, locked. The brief gleaming flare of friendship you felt when she smiled at you in earnest thanks stutters and dies. You really had a moment there, but now she's inside and you're out here, where you will never reap the fruit of glorious friendship you planted with that act of kindness. Geez, what's the point of doing something nice if you don't get any credit for it? Game over. Alright. One more time. I just like saying her name. Chixie, Roixmr. Okay. Stand there like an asshole. Oh, right, there's a few different, she's got a few different routes here. So tell Zebra that Chixie isn't going to get to perform. You tell Zebra about the higher caste trolls coming in and taking Chixie's place. She starts making frantic motions behind Zebra's back and shaking her head, but immediately stops when he turns to look at her. That true, babe? It's not a big deal. This sort of stuff happens in the business all the time, or so people tell me. Don't worry about it. No, I am worried. I always worry about low-bloods in terrible positions who can't help themselves at all. I'll take care of it for you. You really don't have to. Zebra touches her arm for way longer than is necessary. It's more of a shoulder rub than a pat. Chixie seems to be trying very hard not to shrug him off. Her grin belongs on a Halloween mask, a rictus grin. The two of you watch him swagger back off toward the front of the hall. Chixie let out a breath. I wish he hadn't done that. He got a really popular music blog, and he's an indico, so I have to be polite. One bad review from him and it's over for my career. But I try to interact with him as little as possible. He hadn't realized that Zebra was a musician. Oh, he's not. He just reviews albums and shows, stuff like that. He makes a lot of reposts, but he's got a ton of followers. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice to be noticed, but he's just a little pushy, and I don't have time in my life right now for quadrants, you know what I mean? You do, you so do. Does Zebra try what he tried with you on every low-blood he meets? You aren't sure if that makes you feel better or worse. Chixie talks about him like he's a natural disaster, a tornado that she has to avoid to keep from getting torn apart, like he's just an inevitability that people would treat her like she owed them something. I don't want to seem ungrateful. You tell her that she doesn't seem ungrateful from where you're standing. She doesn't seem to be doing anything wrong. She sighs, blowing a piece of hair out of her eyes. Too bad doing everything right doesn't automatically mean things will go your way. When Zebra comes back, such little time has passed that you don't think he could possibly have done anything. He shows you and Chixie all his teeth. I got it fixed up for you. You go on tonight. In fact, you're headlining. You're welcome. Chixie's mouth drops open. What? How? I get to do anything I want in my own club. Wait. What? I bought it from the owner. He's just a teal. Seriously, business ownership? A is little ambitious for It's a little ambitious for a mid-blood, isn't it? I convinced him that it would be just easier for him and everybody else if a high-blood took over. I'd be meaning to get back into the club scene anyway. You always have somewhere to perform, provided you do everything I say all the time. He grins to show that's just a joke, but there's also something in his smile that you really, really don't like. You regret asking for his help. So does Chixie, apparently. She gets right in your face. Nice work. Now I owe him even more than before. This is the only club around here that will let low-blood solo acts perform. You can find your own way out, can't you? Game over. Oh dear. Yeah, bad end. Bad end. Okay, there's actually one more there, because there's something near the end where it's like, either do something or don't do something. Don't do the epigraph battle. Okay. Come on. Click through the things. There we go. So stand there like an asshole. Mind your own damn business. And that sucks. Where's the bar? Chixie looks up at you like she's only just remembered she's a physical body and not simply an amorphous blob of pure sadness. There's a cluster of bottles from the nearby amp. God, more Faygo. Of all the brands that could cross galaxies, of course it had to be Faygo. Chixie grabs what looks like a liquor bottle. Right here. Come on. Not even my vent shit is enough for this. Back in the dressing room, Chixie upends several suitcases onto the floor, mixing her stuff with the other performers. Her give-a-shit-o-meter is down in the red, apparently. She flops down in the pile she's made and takes a huge gulp out of the bottle. Wow, have some. It's awful. Encouraging. Come on, it's gross, but it won't kill you. You wish people would stop promising you that. So far it's been true, but you still don't trust it. She takes another drink and hiccups, then holds the bottle up for you. Great, peer pressure. Lying on a pile of sweaters with a distraught vocalist and getting wasted is exactly what you wanted to do with your evening. Chixie gives the bottle a shake. Oh well, you suck smoke out of a bug's ass and you're still here. You drop down on the sweaters beside her. Chixie is dramatic, but you're disappointed to discover that she's not being dramatic about this. It is awful. Right? Have some more. You do. God, that's bad. Chixie is getting a lot tipsier than you. She's drinking faster and she's smaller than you are. Not that you know shit about troll physiology. Faygo is an alcoholic. It's soda. Come on, let's commiserate. It's hard, you know? You nod, boy, do you know? The music business, I mean, especially when you're starting out. You have to be visible. But you also can't look like you're showing off. You have to pretend you don't like the attention or fame, even if you do. But sometimes you have to pretend you do like it, even if you don't. If you're a low blood, you have to watch everything you do all the time. If you're a high blood, you can do anything and everybody thinks it's awesome, no matter what. Show business sucks. You want to mention that she's the one who decided to go into it in the first place, but that would be unkind. Nobody here seems to have a job or go to school either. They all just have intensely obsessive hobbies like painting or music or meat. Instead, you tell her that you're sure she'll write more songs. Sure, and they'll just see those too. You tell her you're sure that's not true. Chixie attempts to put a finger up to your lips, but she gets it half up your nose instead. Complaining time, not helpful advice time. Oh dang, you can definitely get behind that, because you got some complaints. You take another swig and it burns all the way down. You tell Chixie, oh dear, all about the crash landing on a strange alien planet, their broken limbs and hard times and bad wardrobe choices. You skirt around all the amazing friends you made, though. You don't want her to experience friend envy. Halfway through your heroine story, you hear something. Chixie is passed out, drooling on your dress. Better than puking. Do trolls puke? Oh well, this isn't a vow of undying friendship, but it's not friendly? Victory? Okay. So, not quite a bad ending, but not the ending that you wanted either. Huh. So, my thoughts for her, Chixie Roma. I can definitely see that where that mind is coming from, where she has that whole mask aesthetic and, like, she has that, like, struggle between, like, how she's supposed to present herself to others and to different people. Definitely, like, role reversal, that kind of thing. However, I'm getting a kind of a strong-ish vibe for a maid for her, for class. And let me explain. She seems like a creator, like writing the songs, writing the lyrics, actually doing things, creating stuff. Just part of like the whole like it's music, which usually could suggest like time, but it's also like an artistic medium. So in terms of class, it's technically like implying creation. She seems very upset when people steal her original ideas. At first, she seems extremely passive and sort of like letting people push her around and like do that kind of thing. But like, give her a bit of a nudge and like she explodes. She has the potential in her to like completely like take the reins and like drag things on her own. And so she seems like a disenfranchised active player, like disenfranchised like obviously because of her position in life, but otherwise, and like if you let her be what she is and like let her be free, she seems very like active for that. So active creation, and plus something about like the maid class, like I remember something I said about it before where it was like at first maids are like children where they like sort of rely on the environment around them to sort of give them the things they want and care for them, like how it was in her Bad Roots where like Zebra sort of took over everything. She's like, oh great, well that's not what okay. But maids come into their own when they like kind of put their foot down and start to define and decide for themselves what their life is going to be like. And that's kind of like pretty spot on for exactly what Chixie did when she like sort of like took the stage and like started doing that rap battle and everything. So I'm feeling pretty good about Maid of Mind for her. So I'm gonna write that for down. Okay, so to backtrack all of the Classpect thoughts I have so far. So Remily Namek, Scorgo, Sign of the Crusader. She's potentially rogue or close second thief of space. Konil Okuma, Lepia, Sign of the Synthesizer. She is definitely a Knight of Light. Almost certainly. Tyzias Entykk, Tyzias Entykk, her sign is Lyser, the sign of the Charmer. Definitely Heir of Blood, for sure Heir of Blood. And Chixie Roixmr, sign is Torah. Feeling very strongly Maid of Mind for her as well. The ones I'm feeling less strongly about would be like Remily. Like, she's either rogue or thief, for sure, 100%. But I'm just feeling slightly like rogue ekes out the top spot there. But thief is definitely a valid class for her as well. Konil, I'm way more stronger about Knight. However, Destruction there is also pretty high chance. Prince of Light as well kind of works for her. And it does kind of work in the sense of like Light is usually kind of associated with sort of like mentality and intelligence, that kind of thing. But Konil just seems more bronze than brain. So Prince of Light technically, I guess, can work for her too. But I do kind of feel Knight as well. I don't know, that one's also iffy. But Heir of Blood for Tyzias and Maid of Mind for Chixie, I'm super solid about. But I'll just put in, like, I guess brackets, Prince and Thief for the other two. But yeah, these are just sort of, like, Classpect guesstimates, I guess. Not exactly meant to be like, I am 100% definitely sure about this class. Though I have said that about, like, I think one of them so far, that I'm like, there's no way they're anything else. I can't remember who I said that about, though. But these guys, yeah, for me, that's pretty much their, what they are. For me. So yeah, I hope this was fun. Yay, I'm caught up. Finally, for once. So maybe like when the next one comes out, I might actually play it the day it comes out that time. Hopefully. Probably not. It'll probably be like the Friday or the Saturday right after. But yeah. What do you feel about them being a page? I don't know how I feel about it, but the way you described how they exploded when they pushed a little reminded me of Page. Yeah, that vaguely can sound like a lot of different classes. Like, it can also sound like a bard going into their crisis, but I just think there's more things that push her into a creation role than there are things that go into the other way. Oh yeah, I'll stream every time I do the volume, the FriendSims, every Hiveswap, all of that. You can also find it on my YouTube channel if, like, this Twitch only saves it for like 14 days or something, so I record these and I upload them onto YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube right now, hi. That's for later. That's a surprise tool we use for later. Okay. Alright, that's about it though. Thanks for joining me. See ya.